Hello, my name is Mitchell Swords. We're going to be looking at RLOs, creating asynchronous learning activities using Keynote. Asynchronous simply means whenever the kids can access it, they can complete this task. So it could be at a center, it can be in whole group, just as independent practice. So the big ideas of RLOs, reusable learning objects, are this. On the student side, students can do it at their own pace. They can find their corrections and make corrections independently, and the students are accountable for that. So you build in an assessment so that you can come back and see what they did. And the directions are built in so you don't have to go and explain it to them, or they're available to them whenever they need it. On your end, though, creating these, they need to be skill focused. You can't make it a big, huge idea with many different things. It needs to be one particular skill. Teacher receives the assessment, and the slides are easy to navigate through when playing. And so what that part means is simply I'm accessing all the different slides through using the skill of adding links. We're going to be talking about that. And so the framework goes like this. You have a main menu slide that you create where students can have different buttons that they click on, and then they go to the different question slides, which then go to, you can have them practice and then see what the answer is or what you're expecting them to be able to do. They can go back to their menu slide whenever they need to, and whenever they're ready, they can do an assessment slide. Now you see all this jumping around that happens. Well, the reason that this is possible, we usually think of Keynote as very linear, as one to the next slide to the next slide. But what makes this really powerful is the idea of adding links. And so I'm going to explain that to you quick. Here's what we have on my example that I have. We're talking about modeling expressions. I have the directions built in. And here's the main title slide. I can click on any one of these and it will go to a particular example. Kids have the question directions, and they have an example of what it should look like. And then when they're ready and they have their problem, they can look at the answer. And I have a link here that can go back to an expression tile. Whenever I'm ready, I can do the assessment. And it gives directions on how to submit that digitally. How do I do that? I'm going to add an assessment slide for the iPad right now. So I'm going to go to this slide here, which is at my very bottom right here. What I can do to any and every slide is I can duplicate. So I'm going to do Control and then click on it, and then I'm going to duplicate that slide. And so now I have on slide 18, I have now an iPad version that I'm going to make. So I'm going to write in iPad. And now I have take a picture using photo booth. I can change that to complete in Notability name underscore modeling expressions. And you created a Google Drive folder, or a Google Drive folder for Notability synchronizing. So it goes right to their particular folder for that. So now what I can do is I can go and I go back to my title slide, and I could create a button using a shape. And I'm going to call it iPad. And I can do Control click. And now I can look and it says add link. And I could do next slide, previous slide, first, last, last viewed, or I can go to a particular slide. I'm going to choose slide 18. And now, whenever I click on that, if I were to press play, I can click iPad, and it goes right to the iPad slide. So using Keynote, I can create student-paced centers that they can work on by themselves, and you have a way to get their understanding, and you can meet with them at your own pace to be able to do those things.